I am Maha Salman. I am Maha Salman, the co-lead of professionalization team of Asia Pacific Evaluation Association. And I welcome you all to the second session of the Brown Bag series on professionalization of evaluation. Just few ground rules before we begin the session. We would request you all to please mute your mics during the session so that we can hear the speakers clearly. The session is being recorded. You must have gotten a notification for it. This is a very tight 30-minute session. But even in that, we would like to engage with the participants. So we have, in the end, we have a Q&A session, and you may post your questions, queries in the chat box during the session, and we'll take all your questions and concerns once the speakers are done with their session. And you can also email us if you would like to. So after the first brown bag session with Sri Lanka, the successful session, we started with great energy, great work. They displayed all the work that they've done. It's just quickly, I would like to tell you what the brown bag series are about. These are quick follow-up sessions. The idea is to learn over lunch with WOPE's EY chapters, parliamentarians, and members of the evaluation community. The key takeaways or the goals or the aims of the sessions are to keep setting and working on professionalization related goals, get feedback, get guidance from our speakers, as well as the evaluation community. We want to learn from each other's experience, and we want to keep improving the existing professionalization products and developing new ones. So this is basically, the idea is to come together and listen to each other and just learn what others are doing to get inspiration. So today is our second session, and our friends from Japan have joined in to share their experience or their journey of professionalization of evaluation. And today we are joined by Professor Kiko Nishino and Professor Yoko Ishida to tell us the story of Japan. So I welcome you both. Thank you for joining in. Hello, how are you doing?
Yes, thank you, Maha. Thank you, Maha. So let me just share my slide, our slides.
Sure.
Is it okay? I guess.
Yes.
See? All right. Okay. So thank you, Maha. So today we also honored Professor Yoko Ishida and myself. Very honored to share our experience in Japan in terms of the professionalization of evaluation. So the case of Japan. So Professor Yoko Ishida is the Vice President of Japan Evaluation Society, and also then I am Keiko Nishino, and then also board member of Japan Evaluation Society, and then Vice President of APIA. Okay, so let's begin. Right, so the content today, it's like very short, about 20 minutes presentation. So we will have the very sort of short presentation, the starting with the historical background, and then the government policy evaluation, and ODA evaluation, and the evaluation trainings and challenges that we have at this moment. So the historical background, as you can see, this is the left side is government ODA M&E policies. Then then also the right side is M&E capacity development. And as you can see, that is sort of the evaluation, both the government and ODA evaluation policies, or the sort of the practices started in the 80s. Then basically starting with the ODA evaluation. Then in the 90s, a lot of the guidelines and trainings and then was developed. And at the turn of the century, the Japanese government enacted the government policy evaluation, which I will explain later. And then in 2007, the school evaluation was introduced through the school evaluation law. So all schools, universities are now is required to conduct self-evaluation. And then the JICA, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, started ex post evaluation. Then SDGs started, and then followed by the DAC evaluation criteria, 6 criteria. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Japan Evaluation Society translated the better criteria for better evaluation in Japanese, so that it's widely used. Then M&E capacity development. So based on the DAC ODA evaluation, the mid-1990s, the Foundation for Advancing Studies of International Development started M1E training course with so-called PCM, Project Cycle Management Method. This is a planning and also the M1E combined sort of to manage the project cycle of JICA-assisted ODA projects. So in order to pursue the evaluation for the JICA-assisted or the Japan-assisted the projects and programs, then JICA officials and private consultants and then government officials, we all needed to learn about the planning and M&E methodology through FACIT. So this is really the beginning of the M&E trainings. Then in 2000, about 22 years ago, the Japan Evaluation Society was established. Then we started sort of researching about evaluation. And then mid-2000, followed by the FACIT and then the JES, some private institutions, consultancy firms, and some private companies started M&E training. This is to enforce or increase the professionalization among the evaluators and also train the young evaluators so that we can get orders and get job from the JICA and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the government agencies. So there's some demand for the evaluation. That was really key. So there's a demand so that we needed to supply the evaluators, the young ones, and then also the experienced ones to conduct evaluation for basically starting with the ODA, then followed by the governmental programs. Then some mid-2000s, some universities started to offer practical courses, not the academic full course, but the practical some courses. Then 2008, the JES started training course of certified professional evaluator. And then the mid-2010, a few universities introduced evaluation classes in their public administration course. And some universities focus on the public administration. They started evaluation because the government has established this law. And then just recently, the Japan Evaluation Society members published handbook on program evaluation. So then let me just explain about the government policy evaluation just briefly. So the background is about just before the turn of the century. So the Japanese public or the citizens really criticized the mismanagement of the Japanese government. So the government realized that they need to improve public sector management because it was not efficient enough and effective enough. So the Administrative Reform Council was established. Then, so about 2 years ago, 2 years later, in 1998, the Management and Coordination Agency started preparing the National Evaluation System. And finally, the 2000 and then 2001, Koizumi Cabinet approved the basic policy on policy evaluation. And 2002, the Government Policy Evaluation Act, it's called Law Number 86 of 2001, was enforced. So within a very short period, about 2 to 3 years, then government policy evaluation sort of law was prepared and system was established. That is because it was like it was too short and then not full discussion was made. So that is causing a little problem in these days. And finally, the 2007, the ex-ante evaluation on regulations introduced, and so many other regulations was introduced later. Then in Japan, this is like the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communication. This is becoming a sort of the key ministry. And then all the ministries are required to conduct the internal evaluation. They can hire the expert, but then also they can seek the expert advice. But the Ministry of MIC, it's called MIC, Ministry of Internal Affairs, will coordinate all the ministries, and then they need to report. Then, of course, I mean, they will review and they will make some recommendations. It's all published in the website, and then it's called the disclosure for the citizens. And Ministry of Internal Affairs will report national diet and then also advise the Prime Minister and also the consult with the Policy Evaluation Council. So it looks beautiful flow, but the biggest issue, the challenges which I will explain later, is it is connected to the budget. That is the one big issue. So these are the organizations connected policy evaluations. So all the ministries and all the agencies and all the commissions, so many, they have all the web page and they will disclose the evaluation results and so on. So they look, so we could see what's going on in each ministries and agencies and commissions. However, the issue is it is not connected to the budget, so the planning. So that will be the next step that we need to follow. Then Professor Yoko will join and then explain about the ODA evaluation. Professor Yoko?
Yes. So can you? Yes. So now this table shows how the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and JICA conducts ODA evaluation. So as Professor Nishino, Professor Keiko, sorry, as she explained that all the ministries are requested to conduct policy evaluation. So in that sense, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they have two floors of evaluation, meaning one is policy evaluation. This is internal one. So, and the other one is the evaluation of official development assistance. So they have two lines. So the overall foreign policy evaluation is annually done following the Policy Evaluation Act and through the internal evaluation. And the policy, as for the ODA evaluation, as you can see in this table, so policy level and part of the program level evaluation is done by the ministry, while project and part of the program level evaluations by JICA. So in that sense, the ministry officers who is responsible for the internal policy evaluation they are expected to have basic knowledge and skills to organize and implement evaluation studies and prepare reports by themselves. They have to do it, right? Internal evaluation. And the ministry and JICA officers in the ODA evaluation departments, so they are different. They are expected to have basic knowledge of monitoring and evaluation and to plan monitoring and evaluation study. And they are going to hire and manage the consultant team to conduct ODA evaluation. So it depends where they are working. And the ministry and JICA conduct internal staff training and send their staff members. They have their own program for train their the officers, and at the same time, they saved some budget. They had the budget to send their staff members to the training of Japan Evaluation Society or any other relevant training. So next one, please. So, quick question, by the way.
Sorry?
Click, could you please click? Because it includes some animation. Yes,
Okay.
yes, thank you. No, too much. Yeah, this is enough. So this figure shows that PDCA cycle, right? Plan, do, the check and action cycle of ODA policy programs and the expected role of evaluation. It is expected that the objectives of evaluation are learning and accountability. This learning and accountability will be accomplished during this PDCA cycle. But however, most of the officers, they prefer planning rather than evaluation. So that's why the feedbacks are not well reflected to their future planning or policy making. And the evaluation are not usually done very timely. So, could you please turn to the next one? So, but still, in order to improve.
Sorry, is this okay?
Yes, it's okay. Please, next. Hi. So in order to improve the evaluation environment, so there are some trainings to improve the officers or other persons' evaluation knowledge or skills. So, but there are some problems. So let me show you some. This slide shows the current status of academic courses provided by the universities or some institutions. So the trainings are still limited. There are no universities or graduate schools that specialize in evaluation in Japan, right? And then there are some evaluation-related trainings, as I just pointed out that University of Tokyo or Kyoto University, Waseda University, they're offering some practical courses, but not very academic courses in their the relevant courses. And some graduate schools offer courses in program evaluation, like Hiroshima University, Takushoku University. So, but the numbers are limited. And some undergraduate focused on policy studies, not evaluation itself, policy studies, teach policy evaluation subject. So including Dosha University, Kwansei Gakuin University, this one Professor Keiko belongs to, and Takasaki City University of Economics. These are the major universities who are conducting those trainings. Next, please. Hi. So this, I already used this slide before, but this shows the Japan Evaluation Society's current monitoring and evaluation training course. So this is sort of certified professional evaluator course. When they finish this, the course consisting of 6 units, they can get the certification from the Japan Evaluation Society. So the full day, 6-day training, 7 hours per day, and we are now conducting this twice a year. But nowadays, previously we conducted this training on a the face-to-face basis, but nowadays we are conducting online basis. And because this is on the online and on-demand course, so it takes longer, not 6 days, but it takes 2 weeks or something longer. And then we expect 30, 40 trainees per course. So this is the same, even for the face-to-face and online course. We have same number of the trainees. And this training program is very popular, and it is always become full within several minutes, just soon after the open the reservation website. So but participation fee is relatively high. If you are the JES member, 77,000 yen, and if you are not, you have to pay 104,500 yen, right? And then the contents you can see here from the introduction, and then ethics and social responsibility during the first unit, followed by basic theory and evaluation, and how to design evaluation. And explain an analytical method explained during the third unit. And fourth unit, judgment and analysis results and feedback. So these are our program. So then Professor Keiko, please.
Thank you. I'm sorry about, I was just calculating how much it would be. That
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Into US dollars.
But I have to say one thing, right? So these training are conducted in Japanese. So that's why the most of the documents and programs are written in Japanese. So we cannot share it, right? So please.
So the non-JS member, if you are fluent in Japanese, then the fee will be about $850 currently. So it's not that cheap for 6 days or 7 days on the trainings. But anyway, as Professor Yoko mentioned, that it is really popular. So there's a discussion that we need to conduct like 4 times a year. But of course, I mean, it is not that possible because all the professors are pretty busy. So anyway. So this is the situation. So the challenges, it is our last slide. So as I mentioned earlier, the government policy evaluation system is there. But unfortunately, like 20 years after the implementation, it might have lost substance and needs system updates. And the government policy evaluation market have a big impact on the needs of human resources development. So therefore, so many the training courses, not by the JES, but by other private institutions and some government agencies, they have their own training in evaluation. And especially for the governments and in the national or the central or the local government officials. The one aspect of the Japanese human resource management system works in a way the better for evaluation is the government officials change the position every 3 to 5 years. So if you are assigned in the evaluation section, you need to know about the evaluation. And then after 3 to 5 years, they will be transferred to the other section, but with the knowledge about the evaluation. But the negative side of that kind of human resource management is, so the 3 to 4 years of the experience in internal evaluation in each ministry, but they will never become a very professional evaluator, but they have basic knowledge about evaluation by practice. So it contains both the pro and con side, the positive or negative side of the Japanese human resource management system. So there are more practitioners, including government officials, consultants, private company researchers, than academic researchers. We have very limited number of the academic researchers. And in the JES, there's a couple of blocks about the ODA practitioners and also the academia who research about ODA evaluation. There's an administrative government policy block. They are the government officials and also the public administration researchers and academia. And also there's a block from the school policy evaluations, and also like the human resources evaluation, the other sort of the trainings. So there's a 2-3 blocks which really contains in the Japanese evaluation in a way the field. So in order to develop M&E capacity among the younger generations, as the JES has concluded memorandum of understanding with a few universities, but it's a very limited number will be trained. So the government agencies, universities, private sectors give priority to the improved accountability through evaluation to the Japanese people. However, as we mentioned earlier, that is also the both sides in any way. So it is really hoped that the academic societies and universities will collaborate in M&E human resource development, which is the aim of one of the aims of the Japan Evaluation Society, and offering relevant courses and subjects to further advancement on recognition on the importance of evaluation. So this is the end of our presentation. Thank you very much for listening. And then sorry, we had to quickly, so many things that we wanted to share with you. Anyway, thank you.
So we have some questions.
Okay.
Professor Keiko.
All right. Let me just go back to. I would be the list some institutions running more M&E program in Japan, especially English programs. No, I'm sorry, no, we don't. So the Japan is so isolated island, and then everything is done in Japanese.
So only we can say is, for example, JICA.
Yes,
evaluation training
outside of Japan, isn't it?
Yeah, in collaboration with Japan Evaluation Society staff members. So, but it's very unique, rare case, special case. So,
right.
Yeah,
but
conducted by JICA.
Yeah, right? We can do or collaborate with the peer and then some other agencies to conduct the training for, especially for YEE in English in the future.
We have to. Right.
Yeah, right. That's our dream. Professor Yoko and myself are really thinking about it, but maybe after our retirement.
Yeah, as we mentioned that the big market of the evaluation training for the government officers, right? Ministry officers, so meaning they speak Japanese mainly. So that's why, so English training is very much limited. Right.
Right.
So there's another question, and it says that better. So the question is that if the DAC criteria, is there a difference between the DAC criteria and the better evaluation criteria that you
right? So so maybe I sent to the direct message, but in JICA, it's really all the ODA evaluation is based on the DAC criteria, but adding some more aspects for tailored for the Japanese assistants. So, but basically the DAC evaluation criteria. That is why the MOFA has translated that in Japanese.
So I also have one question. Since you shared a chronological picture, you told us that the JICA initiated in 1980s. But from 1980s to now 2020, do you feel that there has been a change in how evaluations were done over time? Some prominent trends or changes that you can mention, just a few to get an idea.
How do you think, Professor Yoko? It's improved in many
Yes,
ways.
yes, yes. I think more people know that evaluation is important. They say that, but as a reality, how do you think?
Yeah, in reality, I think it's because of the Japanese language that in Japan, in Japanese language, the evaluation sounds like almost like a criticism. So they don't like it. And so in English, evaluation means a positive and negative, both sides. But in Japanese, evaluation means not that good. I mean, so anyway.
Yeah,
So,
but situation getting better, but still needs lots of improvement.
yeah.
Well, this perception also persists in a lot of international evaluation circles, because it's looked at something, someone is monitoring you, someone's over you, watching you, criticizing you. But it is for that improvement, if you look at it, the essence is to improve. Not somebody is trying to, demean your work or, trying to correct you per se.
Right.
But yes, it's good you mentioned that, but this narrative is changing all over. So that is good.
It is. The biggest problem is it is not really reflected or connected to the planning and budget. That is, the timing of the evaluation and the way it is conducted. It's really not correlated to the next planning. That is a big issue in Japan now.
So there's another quick question, and it is, does the government allocate sufficient budget to improve M&E capacity and conduct so basically with regards to budget and resource allocation, how do you think it is for Japan?
They required to learn on the job and not really the big. I really don't know about the budget alone. It really depends on the ministries and so on. But
yeah, but at least to follow the Evaluation Act, they have to secure some budget.
So,
because we have
they have to do it every year of the internal evaluation. So I mean, they really prepare the huge documents of the evaluation. But I don't know response from the young ones. But young ones on which one? Malika,
can you elaborate your question? How is the response from the young ones? Are you does that mean, are you asking about the YEs, young and emerging evaluators? It's probably that, if anyone wants to address that.
For the ODA evaluation, especially for the private company, they would train the young ones just for the sake of the younger ones to get a consultancy contract from JICA or the MOFA or some other agencies. So that is good response from the young ones. And then but I don't know about the government officials, because they may really have to study hard to learn about the acts and the evaluation. So I don't know the young ones will prefer or not.
Yeah, I don't know either, but nowadays, because of SDGs or ESN investment, the many private companies, not only government officers, the private companies are more interested in evaluation or monitoring how the performance of their own companies, right? So that's why younger ones also interested in evaluation itself, I think.
Maybe that's why that the JES evaluation training course is so popular, because they become full in like the less than 30 minutes or so once it's open. So
absolutely. So I'm having a great time. We're all having a great time with these quick questions, but I just looked at the time and it's time to conclude the session. So I'm formally going to conclude the session and thank everyone for joining in, and thank you to both our speakers for this brilliant presentation. You gave us a historic context. You built up, you told us about the actors, stakeholders who are involved, the policy, the cycle evaluation process in Japan, the government, the counterparts that are part of the system. Then you spoke about the trainings, the courses, and the pros and cons, and especially the challenges that exist, and some of the solutions you talked about. So thank you so much. And the questions that popped up was also quite interesting, and it was definitely a very informative session. I'm sure the participants also getting a great response. So it shows that they also like the session. So thank you again to both of you, and thank you to all of you who've joined in today for this session. So we'll see you again next month. And next month, we have our friends from India who will be joining us and sharing their experience. So I hope to see you all next month, same time, last Friday of the month. Thank you so much.
Must be busy. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Sounds like a Bimji.
So, Bimji.
Bimji from Nepal.